This is Ma Mridu here, and welcome back. Now, what we're going to do on a daily basis is uh, I'll be coming in on a daily basis to read some part about from the book The Living Enlightenment. So I call this the Jivan Mukti moment, where I sit through with you and open up any page, and that page could be reading up something that could appeal to you, that could ring with you or resonate with you, or could resonate with me. But it's going to be something beautiful to see what the book has to say. And for those of you who do not know about this beautiful, amazing book, this is called the Living Enlightenment book, and is actually a living goddess because it actually speaks to you. And all you have to do is, if you have a question at any point of time in life and you do not know what to do when you're stuck, be it a problem in office, or be it a problem with relations, or some stuck feeling that you're undergoing, just open up the book randomly to any page and you'll have your answer. There's also an online version of this which I'll be posting below this video, and you can also use that as a point of reference. So while we wait for more people to join, is there's anything that you'd like to ask, you can probably even post your questions here and I can read up your question. And by just connecting with Swamiji, you'll just open up to any page and you'll have your answer in the book. Now, recently we celebrated the Jivan Mukti Day, the Living Enlightenment Day, which was on 3rd of March. And in 2009, exactly on the same date, Swamiji launched a book. And I have seen this book around, but never thought it was something that I wanted to read. But today, almost every one of us is just holding on to this book here. Each of us have a personal copies, and whenever we have a question and we're not sure what the answer is or how do you resolve a problem, we just flip through the book and the answer comes through. So I'll share this with you, and at the same time, when you read your answer, it gives you a powerful cognition, and a powerful cognition in a sense. Uh, what we normally look for in an answer is something that is just enough for us. But when you read the book, when you say a powerful cognition, it gives you a breakthrough. That means more than just an answer, it gives you a better understanding about things. For all you know, when you read that answer, when you hear the answer, your question becomes redundant. It doesn't make sense to you anymore. It just fades, it just dissolves. So that's the beautiful and the power of the book. And let's see if you have any questions. Well, there isn't for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect Swamiji to the third eye and open up any page and read up something for you. Yes, so this is something, well, it reads like this. Children have greed and anger, but the inner space is beautiful and pure. Now, you can see children get angry. Children are greedy also. They build their personality mostly on greed, and that is why they are so aware and conscious of mine attitude, like this is mine and that is yours. Try to take away a toy from a child, and the child will behave as if his life is taken away. He will scream, he will shout. This is because his whole personality is built upon mine attitude. Children have greed and anger, but you cannot call them impure. This is because whatever you may think as impurity does not affect the inner space. They will sit and play with their toys, and after a few hours, they will throw them away and go away. They don't carry anything in them. Their inner space is beautiful and pure. And there's something else that I like to read here. It's beautiful. It says, unless you're tired of logic, you cannot be ready for the transformation. So, what I probably want to just elaborate a little more here is, uh, look at a child. How much logic does a child have? It has is some innocence, no right, no wrong, but just lots of innocence. And that's exactly what actually allows the child to adventure and to experience wonderful things because they're not conditioned in a certain way. They're not conditioned to think in a certain way or behave in a certain way. All they do is they just express out of that innocent space. Now, quite to the contrary, we as adults, we have been conditioned so much that our mind has taken over our lives. And we have literally, instead of becoming a master of the minds have mastered us. And we've actually so conditioned to society, to parental conditioning, that half the time whatever we're doing is actually just to please and just to make sure we are in line with social norms. And each time when we look at a problem, all we look at is how can I solve this logically? This doesn't seem logical to me. This doesn't seem right to me. But when there is another level which is beyond logic, not everything in life has a logical answer. If that's what you're looking for, then it is not so. Life is so much more to understand and experience that it could be beyond logic. And when you take one step to go beyond logic and to explore into the unknown space, that is where you'll experience a transformation in your inner space. Now, there are various levels that we have. We have the length dimension, we have the breadth dimension, and we have the depth dimension. Now, the length is basically very logical in nature because we're constantly trying to relate numbers, figures, and equations. It has to match. But when you go at the breadth is more will do with the heart and your emotions, where probably logic doesn't work there, and we all can relate with it. And at the more deeper level is the depth dimension. Now, the more deeper we get into ourselves, moving from length to breadth to depth, and ultimately to space, we will see that our being just gets transformed without us doing anything. Just by moving, getting ourselves drilled into the space level, where there's no logic, where there's no emotion, it is just space. And when you can connect with the cosmos in the space level, there is where beautiful transformation will happen in your being. That's where you and Sadashiva become one. Now, how do you do that? I'll share with you what exactly happens whenever I want to connect with Swamiji at space level. You just have to see him or feel him in your Ananda Gandha. Ananda Gandha is a beautiful space above your navel. And when you just be there, when you're just there, just think of him, feel him, experience him, and be in the oneness with him. See, it's important uh, for you to experience oneness. It is important for you to also experience a union. And when you're in that union with him, regardless of, I mean, putting aside who you are, your identity, your name, your whatever you are, whoever you are, when you drop all of that and merge into him, into that space, you will experience a beautiful transformation process. So go ahead and try this beautiful technique of connecting with Sadashiva at the space level. Drop everything you know about yourself, because whatever we know about ourselves is just too little. We know ourselves by our name, by our titles, by our jobs, by the type of clothes we wear, or the language we speak, or the country we belong to. There's just one level, and that's only limited up to a certain level. But who you really are is something much more. And for you to experience also who you really are, you just have to drop whatever you know about yourself and just be in that space and merge with Him. Because even when we are with people who we really love, we are still having some form of conditions inside us. We don't let go entirely. But when you have the beautiful union with the cosmos, you got to literally let go of everything. It's like letting go of, just jumping off the cliff and letting go your hands and said, Swamiji, I'm coming down. Like you're just letting go of a lot of things that we hold on, letting go of the reins of life. And that cosmos takes care of you. And that's a beautiful way where you can experience union. So I'll leave you with this for today and the beautiful message from the Living Enlightenment book about how when we let go of the logic and move towards innocence, you'll experience amazing transformation. So with this, blessings and heaven.